This is Minkles and Dragons.
Some time has passed since our last adventure, and we rejoin our party aboard the Velvet Empress in celebration of a job well done. The last time we saw our heroes, they had successfully infiltrated the property of one Lord Medla Nerawedran in pursuit of answers, only to find and uncover a greater ongoing plot by a portion of Unity's upper class to overthrow the ruling council and impose their own rule of law in the Stone Cities. In a series of exciting off-screen narratives that lasted months that I am sure were really impressive and dramatic in their own right, the combined might of our party and their companions was unleashed upon the capital in an effort to root out elements of this subversive plot. Working in tandem with the information bartered from Lord Nerawedran in exchange for his demands being met, sorry, did something just break?
That's fine.
Okay. Sorry. Working in tandem with the information bartered from Lord Nerawedran in exchange for his demands being met by the Citadel's Council, an intense series of arrests and sieges on various compounds of the wealthy and influential members of the plot identified by the captured informant saw the majority of those involved incarcerated, their assets seized, and redistributed for the betterment of the city as a whole. Redistributed. Meanwhile, as these events transpired, the singers working alongside Siphius within the Citadel's laboratories were finally able to replicate the magically resistant properties of the Minkledon herd mother's protective hide, using a form of rapid crystallized rock growth mixed with samples of the Minkledon's rocky scales. Working to encase the Velvet Empress in an armored stone exoskeleton from that point forward, the time has finally come, following rigorous testing, to set sail once more and return to the northern wastes of Dorota in hopes of finally finding an answer to the questions that started this whole series of events in the first place. What was it keeping the Stone City of Edders from moving? Players, the time has finally come to get some answers. You all sit aboard the Velvet Empress, enjoying a final night within your airship as it is anchored in Unity's docks before heading out on your potentially final northern expedition in the morning. A sizable crowd of beings fills the gathering hall of the vessel in celebration of your triumphs that have led you all to this point in your journey. The air is heavy with anxious insight. The air is heavy with anxious excitement, tinted with the emotional electricity that comes from a group of good friends recounting all the amazing adversity and experiences shared in the process of undertaking an epic adventure. While a familiar trio of halflings dressed as wizards plays another tune in accompaniment to a very enthusiastic 8-part dance routine playing out on stage by a likewise familiar tall and graceful elven woman, the core members of your adventuring party all sit together on the main balcony overlooking the festivities. As you take in the splendor before you, wrought from the various encounters you have all shared together on your journey thus far, the emotional impact of the scene becomes too much for one of your party to bear, and you can hear the sound of an intoxicated dwarf blowing his nose into his own long red beard before turning to address you all. Just give me 1 second. What?
Which one?
What is this?
Cart. Groceries.
Oh my god, what? Shit, this one. Christ.
Okay.
Sorry, incredibly poorly timed intervention by somebody in my household, but I will continue. It's all just too much. You've become like a family over these many months. I couldn't have seen my life without the likes of you in it. As sure as my naked arse came into life deep beneath the rocks of the world, I'm truly honored to be included in this in this quest. How would you all like to respond to Dalin's emotional drunken ramblings.
I'm just gonna walk over to him with my good old trusty gnomish water and just kind of offer it to him. And just kind of a little tear dripping down my eye.
He's gonna kind of look at your gnomish water, your water offering, and go, "Is that a wineskin?"
Yeah. You
Oh,
should have some. I think you really need some.
oh, that maybe.
Doesn't it taste so good? You should have some.
Okay. And he takes it, and nothing comes out because you're not like doing anything
I'm gonna
to
like
it.
put my hand on it and help shake it.
Okay, it just starts flowing out onto his face and into his mouth, and it's really sloppy, and there's water getting everywhere.
Yeah.
And he's
yeah.
like, "This isn't wine."
Alright, I'll stop and let him just kind of recover a little bit.
He kind of coughs a little bit, and then okay, I'm a little more awake now, but oh man, hasn't it been? Look at all this. Hey, months ago you didn't even own a boat, and now you own a boat, and just so much has happened. Aren't you all just so proud of yourselves?
I mean, yeah, like it's been a crazy adventure. We've had a lot of our ups and downs, but you know what, guys? He's right. Look at all that we've accomplished. We're almost, hopefully, to the end of our journey, and we've done a lot. I guess I'm just gonna take another swig of my wine that I have. You know, it's kind of like pretty. Another swig. It's kind of pretty neat. You know, my people want me back. They like me now or whatever. I've proven myself. And like, we've all got Keefe, look at you and your magic and stuff. You're doing pretty good with that. I mean, there's some mishaps still, but you've come a long way.
I'm growing.
You've come along like Laszlo. You're pretty great. I didn't like you at first. I didn't really like you. If I'm being honest. But
I have that effect on people.
you're pretty great now. You've saved our lives a couple times and you're great. Is Prue here with us?
Yeah. she's
Prue!
with you.
Sorry. Oh, this is some strong wine. But Prue, you're pretty cool. You mysteriously disappear here and there, and I don't know what side adventures you go on and stuff, but like you're funny, you're edgy, you're pretty neat. So I think
Well,
we're
cheers to that.
cheers to that, pal. Clink.
I feel as if I should get drunk with all of you. I never do.
Laszlo, that's the best thing you've said all night. Here, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna pour wine like in his face. Like, open on up. Yes, there we go. Yeah, chug it, Laszlo. Fuck yeah, you're great. You guys are all great.
Keefe, what are you getting up to in this moment?
I'm just people watching away, drinking from my water, just kind of cheersing when I can, but staying fairly sober. Us gnome ones not big drinkers.
And Laszlo, what do you have in response to this getting face blasted with wine?
I'm not a weakling when it comes to wine. I feel warm, and I'm very happy to be here. And I have this sweet ship and this awesome crew, and I'm not a teary man, but if there is a moment for it, this would be it. I'm so proud to have experienced all this shenanigans with you.
And Prue, what about you? What's your experience here?
I'm just drinking heavily and agreeing, nodding, cheersing. Just drinking it in, both physically and emotionally, really.
Well, as you all kind of like are sharing this moment together, Dolan kind of like he kind of stands up a little bit more. He's slouching a bit, and he's like, this has been a great time, and it's gonna be real good going up with all of you.
Yeah, pal.
Yeah.
Agreed. Cheers.
Dolan.
Woo.
We're gonna be fine.
As you guys are kind of all having this little conversation, Siphius kind of comes storming up onto the balcony. He looks a little flustered, and he kind of looks at all of you and goes, "Do you have any idea what time we have to get up at?"
Oh, live a little.
Also, that insinuates that we're gonna sleep. Yeah.
Maybe you should have some wine.
Yes,
you
Siphius.
seem uptight, although you do throw up a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen enough of his vomit. I don't really want to give him anything to drink, please.
Just come sit down though and hang out. Hang out.
Yeah, hang out
with us. Come hang out with us, pal.
Hang out with your tang out. I don't know.
You know that we wake up early no matter what. We're so good at that. None of us hate that a lot. It's fine.
6 a.m. every day.
As you guys are kind of having this interaction with Siphius, he looks up like still disgruntled, and Dolan comes up to him and, "I know that there's no worries there, Siphius. I've got a foolproof plan. You see, years of this experience have taught me that my bed can be anywhere." And he like turns around at you guys and winks at you and goes, "Watch this!" And then he just face plants onto the ground and starts snoring.
That is amazing. I wish I could do that.
I think we lost a man.
I think we did.
Dolan is
talent.
indeed now down for the count. So Siphius kind of, very well, just make sure you're all awake and alert for tomorrow. We have an early start, and there's going to be a lot to do on our journey.
Can I give you some advice, Siphius?
What's that, Laszlo?
There are a lot of people on this ship. You might want to, bang one out so you're not so stressed out.
Laszlo!
Oh, forgive
Lay
me.
off the drink a little, Laszlo.
That's my wine mouth talking.
I
Wow.
agree with him. It's true. There's people on here. There's a lot of them. Anyone you fancy? Siphius? Huh? You got a crush on anyone here, buddy?
Siphius kind of turns bright red and looks a little incensed and goes, I have a lot to do tomorrow. I'll talk to you later." And
All right, poor sport. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Boo!
Oh, that guy is great. I love him. He's cool. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, with that, nobody else is around you. Dolan is snoring contently on the balcony. He'll probably wake up there in about 4 or 5 hours and go about his day. But what would you all like to get up to, starting in order from left to right before the events of tomorrow? Kip, what are you going to get up to with the rest of your night?
Guys, it's pretty right. I do hate waking up early. I really do. And I'm starting, for some reason, to feel pretty tired. So I think I'm going to maybe call it a night. I got to pack. I don't think I have a cold like warm clothes. That's the word. Do you guys have warm clothes? We're going like a really cold place, you know. You guys prepared? I'll see what I got, but I'm
We'll
Did
be
you
gonna.
not
fine.
bring
I
clothes
can
with you
always-
down here?
Yeah,
I can always make fire, so we'll be warm.
That's true. That's pretty true. And I got my fluff ball. She could keep me warm, maybe.
Yeah, she can
Yeah.
sit on your feet and you'll be real toasty.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I'm gonna go be real toasty in my bed, I think.
I'm gonna walk Kip back to her room.
Keefe, you're great. Yeah, I love you. You're pretty great. You know that. Thanks.
I love
Thanks,
you too,
pal.
Kip.
Thanks, pal.
You're gonna sleep great tonight.
I think you know what. I think that you're right. It's gonna be good.
Yep,
Good night,
yep.
everybody. I love you all.
And
Mwah.
I'm just gonna kind of grab her shin and just kind of pull her by her shin down the hall. It's like, okay.
Oh wait, let me just wait. I gotta finish. A little nightcap, finish that off. All right, let's go. And I guess we stumble. Well, I stumble off.
Stumbled
Also,
into Darren's
Keefe's
room.
stumbling because I'm stumbling
Yeah.
all over her. Out of the room.
Very well. You hear a voice also down from below, like in the party, like somebody just being like, "Hey, Christina D&M and Erden and Lord Zach Bora, thanks for the host." And you're like, "Oh, where'd that come from?" So, Laszlo, what are you gonna get up to now before the morning?
I'm feeling pretty good. I could stay up for a while and maybe read or whatnot.
All right, you're gonna go back to your quarters and read a book or something.
Yes. I find it calms my nerves.
All right, a little bit of late night party book reading. Good. Prue, what are you gonna do with your night before the?
Having watched everybody else head off to bed and book, I think perhaps what I will do is take up the floor right beside Dolan and pass up.
All right. So everyone retires to their various states of unconsciousness or comfort. And while everyone retires to their various evening activities aboard the ship, the night quickly becomes day, and the docks begin to fill with eager celebrants. The Citadel has put forth quite an effort for you all to launch your northern expedition aboard your newly armored ship in style. And as you groggily awaken together, you can see thousands of eager onlookers who have come to admire the strange new sorcery that encases the ship while eagerly awaiting its launch. As you all gather on the top deck of the ship, Siphius partially draws back the stone armor segment covering the top of the vessel in sliding segments of ornate scales. Standing in pride of his handiwork, wrought with the aid of his fellow singers, sorry, that was very loud. He stands close to the guest of honor, who is currently presiding over delivering an inspirational oration. Some of you are sitting on the deck, kind of a little hungover, in the crowd gathered on the deck. And this is, understandable, considering the late night. And some of you aren't nursing a hangover, including Dolan. He seems to have this process down pat. He's ready and chipper as ever. He's just kind of watching this conversation. But as you all sit there on the deck waiting for this speech to be delivered, the guest, standing at the very frontmost point of your ship, speaking loudly into a projection stone to address the gathered masses, is none other than Grand Sigurd Kratnornan himself. He speaks of pride in the stone cities and its people, how it's an honor to see such industrious and clever heroes banding together not only in the pursuit of discovery and innovation, but also in their bravery and determination in facing insurmountable challenges for the betterment of the world at large. His long-winded, inspirational speech goes on for some time, and you all kind of mill about in anticipation, losing track of the specifics of his conversation, until you hear from the front, "And now, I would like to call upon the heroes who have been at the forefront of all of this change to share a few inspirational words with you all." And at that, everyone kind of gets out of the way and makes room for the four of you to come up to the front of the ship and address the literal entirety of the city.
Maybe we should all impart some wisdom, lessons we have learned on our journey.
Mm-hmm.
As you guys walk up to the ship, the front of the ship, the grand singer, while everyone's all cheering like, yeah, woo, the people, which would be like very loud and rapacious, but I lack the sound effects to make it sound like more than like your mom showed up to the ballet that you're doing. But the grand singer hands his speaking stone to Kip and kind of nods.
I'm just gonna pat Kip's just like butt area, just like, you got it, it's okay.
What am I? They want me to. I need
Give
to
them
say
something inspirational. Something inspirational.
Oh,
You got this.
I didn't. You said we had to get up early. You didn't say anything about embarking wisdom. Embarking. Is that even a word? Giving with. Oh, fuck me. Okay. Lovely citizens. Oh, shh. No applaud. It's okay. Shh. Nice and. Yeah. Just wanted you all to know that. Guys, I can't to say.
No, you got this. No,
You got this.
Come on, you got
Say something about like being prepared and trusting your friends.
Yeah, and thank all of the important people.
Yeah, and tell them to always bring a rope.
Yeah.
Always have a rope.
I just wanted to say that it's important to always have a rope with you. If I'm going to give you one piece of advice, always have a rope, because you never know when you're going to need one. And if you have something very important to do, the next day, don't drink all night. I'm just telling you, it's just a good idea. Just don't drink all night long. Which I would never do, ever. You know, I'm a responsible elf. I don't do these kinds of things because I'm responsible. Thank you, everyone, all of you, for coming here today and giving us the courage to find ourselves, and we're gonna win this. We're gonna get them. And I just like throw the stone to Keefe, and I just sit down and I'm like, oh my God, that was the most embarrassing thing I think I've ever done in my life, and I've done a lot of bad stuff.
You did great. No, you did great.
Oh my God, everything hurts.
So good.
Everything hurts so much, you know?
You did so good.
Yeah, thank you, Peru.
You did amazing.
Sorry,
Yeehaw!
Keefe,
Play ball.
you're holding the stone now.
Play ball. And then I'm gonna pass it to Laszlo. What she said.
All right, Laszlo, you now have the stone.
In this moment of history, we are afforded a chance to save life and limb. May we be courageous. May we be victorious. That is all.
It was so much better.
I'm gonna
than
golf
mine.
clap for
That was so
Laszlo
much-
on the stage.
That was so much better than what I said. I don't even
Very
remember.
good. Very good.
Good job.
Are you gonna
So
give Prue the
inspirational.
rock, or are you gonna?
Here you go.
Oh, thank you. I will hold the rock up to my throat. When Edders was in a state where none of the people in charge were willing to raise so much as a finger to help her, we saved your city. And now we are going to save your city again. So get real hype for that. Real hype. I'm gonna drop the rock.
It's really good. That was so good.
The crowd is a little confused. They're not sure what to make of this speech, but eventually they all just kind of start breaking out into like cheers and claps, and there's thousands of people in this in these docks, and they're all just kind of like, whatever, okay.
I'm gonna try and, as a distraction, I'm gonna try and using my previous like fire magic, I'm gonna try and conjure some fireworks to just like distract them and celebrate.
All right, celebratory fireworks. Give me a d20 at a +4.
Unclosed by roll 20.
Whoa!
Okay, wow, nice. So as this odd, like everyone who works with like the Citadel and stuff is just kind of looking at each other like, and Siphius comes up and kind of takes the rock out of Prue's hand, and he kind of leans over to you all and goes, you do know we're supposed to be framing this as an expedition still, right?
Yeah.
Listen,
We have to give the people hope.
I'm
we're
still really
fireworks.
saving the world.
We're saving the world.
He kind of he hands the rock over to he like nods in respect to the grand singer, and he continues addressing the crowds, and like Siphius kind of leans over and is like, no, really, nobody knows why we're going north, remember? We're not supposed to panic the city.
They don't seem very
They're not
panicked.
panicked. We gave them fireworks. They're fine.
What? Wait, what? Fireworks? And as you're kind of like saying that, there's a bit of a delay. And as the grand singer is standing there talking to people, a whole bunch of very colorful, like, fireworks start shooting out in all directions. And he's a little like, oh God, what? For a second, and then he just kind of stands there, waiting for it to go off and fizzle out. And as the last few kind of like, woo, 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 he just kind of goes, thank you all for coming. And there's a big cheer of everybody, and the crowd cheers, and Siphius just puts his hand on his face. And as you finish the speeches, the ship begins to pull away from the docks, drifting out into the open air, readying itself for the long journey north. There's a brief period of goodbyes as several VIPs and the Grand Singer disembark from the ship aboard their own small flyer that carried them aboard. They don't seem all that keen to talk to you anymore. And once they are gone, the Empress turns north and heads out full speed across the world. So this is the part where we look at the map. We have it up, right? We have the map.
Mhm.
Are you guys ready for this? This interactive experience coming here?
So ready.
All right, hold on. It's going to be dope. Okay. Everybody watching, just you see that there? There's a little thing there. That's the Empress. That's the Velvet Empress, where its position is on the map currently. And we're gonna have a fun time together here. As soon as this plays. Is that really loud?
Yeah.
It's pretty loud. Cool. Passing over mountains and wastelands and barren plains, that's still really loud. The Empress spends days crossing the massive landmass of the continent of Dorota. Oh, look, it's moving!
Ooh.
It's moving! Oh.
Wait.
It continues to float through the sky at a rapid pace, and you all spend days as you progress across the landscape, taking note of things that you've never been able to see from the air before, but are now finally able to witness as the Empress makes its way post-haste to the northern part of the continent. Finally, as you reach the border of the frozen north, the ship is readied for the storms, as layers of artificial scales lock into place across the entirety of the vessel. Utilizing a fragment of the stone monstrosity from the sewers of Edders, and with the aid of a specialist from the Citadel, the ship charts a course through the blinding snow and chaotic magical winds in the general direction of the city that you seek. As the insanely powerful magic swirling around outside the ship rocks and tilts the vessel on its journey into the blinding snowstorms, everyone aboard clings to whatever they can as loose furniture is catapulted across rooms and improperly secured cargo can be heard demolishing itself below deck. After nearly a full day of this tense progress, your journey finally comes to an end as the ship touches down in front of a massive shape that seems to be a mountain at first, but on the second glance looks to be what is very obviously a colossal stone city buried beneath eons of accumulated snow and ice. Easily twice the size of any of those moving stone cities or Unity itself. With no shortage of care, eventually your party and a fair share of your traveling companions ready themselves for the bracing journey out into one of the deadliest regions of the world, where even seconds of exposure could see you frozen solid and ripped apart by the wild magic winds, scattered and atomized into nothingness. You are all clustered together, many familiar faces and some unfamiliar faces in this cargo bay of the ship, ready to undertake the adventure, and you're all huddled together, kind of wearing like warm clothing, and well, Dara's got the right. She's got the right
Kip,
idea.
you mean?
I mean, Kip.
My hair looks like fur around my
Kip
head.
has the right idea. Everyone is kind of gathered together, and you're all sort of grouped together in this weird stone covering that is part of like this odd construct that Siphius is kind of in the process of all locking into place. And you're all about to head out into the frozen wastes. Is there anything you guys want to do or say to each other before you head out into potentially the shittiest place you've ever gone?
Keefe, you got a warm spell, pal? You able to keep us warm somehow? I think this is the coolest I've ever been.
I'm gonna try and cast my orb of illumination, but using my prior knowledge of like conjuring fire, I'm gonna try and make my orb generate heat, like a little just glowing floating heater with us.
All right, you want a little glowing floating space heater.
Yes.
Gotcha. Just roll me a d20. As long as it's not a crit fail, you'll have no trouble doing something like that at this
Glowing
point.
space.
Wow!
Oh!
You make
Oh!
everyone's fine.
I make
Warmth
the best heater ever.
Oh!
Nobody's cold anymore.
Woo!
You're like,
Got you guys. See, I've been practicing.
yeah, so outside the ship, swirling vortex of frozen snow, like minus 100 degrees weather, like everything is just terrible out there. You could die. Inside, Bahamas.
Nice
So,
and toasty. We're fine.
yeah, there we go. Also, Tara, I see you're having a
Shut
little
up!
trouble in
I don't
chat.
want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
As Keefe kind of extends her hand out, this little ball of like radiating heat kind of fills the enclosed space where you're all gathered together, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is much nicer." Yes. Oh. And Siphius kind of is locking everything into place, and he looks over his shoulder and goes, "All right, is everyone ready?
Ready for what?
We're going outside."
Oh yeah. I forgot that we're still.
Ready as we'll ever be.
Yeah,
Let's do this, friends.
I'm ready. I think. I'm not hungover
True.
anymore, right? It's been like days.
Oh yeah, it's been
Okay.
days. You guys have spent days traversing.
Okay,
I
the
mean,
continent.
unless we got drunk every night on the journey.
Which, like, why
That's
wouldn't
true.
we, though?
That's
It could have happened.
That's true. We've just been on a mad bender every single night.
We're going to the adventure.
We
This is
might,
our own version
we
of
might-
a booze cruise.
I mean, that's Dallin pretty much every
we might die, so
You
might
guys-
as well
Oh,
just
cheers to that.
drink every night. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do this.
Prue, what about you?
I mean, I hate cold, so I guess let's go outside.
All right, enthusiastic. I like it. All right. So Siphius kind of takes a deep breath and gathers himself and talks to somebody else in the cargo bay kind of at the bottom of the ship. By the way, Dara, if you scroll up the view briefly, people can actually see the beginning of the blueprints of the map we're going to have for the Velvet Empress itself.
Am I scrolling it all the way, like to see all
Yeah.
of it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Show the whole thing for now. And then, yeah, so this is the whole general view of what we're going to have for the blueprint interactive map for the Velvet Empress. There's no textures or anything, but we have all it's all mapped out and everything. That little place underneath the nameplate is going to be like a picture of the ship itself from like a side profile. So there you go. This is what the Velvet Empress kind of looks like. You know, it's not completely fully fleshed out, but we figured you guys would want to see at least something to figure out what this like boat looks like that we've been using for literally months.
It was pretty neat. It looks pretty
So
good.
in the cargo storage area on the very bottom level, part of the cargo bay itself can open up and kind of like lead with a ramp kind of coming out of it for anywhere that they're sort of parked. This is where you will be exiting from right now into the frozen wastes beyond. So as there's a bit of a rumble, kind of, you can hear the boat kind of opening. It's slower than usual because the protective layer outside has to adjust to the opening of this area. But more or less, as this kind of continues onwards, eventually the sound stops and Siphius kind of points the construct forward and starts mumbling under his breath along with two other singers he's brought with him to kind of like control this construct. And the whole thing kind of starts shifting forward like a big armored caterpillar. And you guys kind of have to shuffle along with the movements of this device as it goes out into the frozen wastes beyond. So traveling in this mobile covering of Siphius's designed, the rolling stone construct makes its way out into the frozen fields, and you can feel immediately that any like small gaps or anything, just the slightest bit of wind coming in from it starts to freeze whatever it comes in contact with like immediately. And you are very now well aware of the horrible whirling snowstorms outside as you're kind of pushing forwards trying to reach this place. Does anyone want to do or say anything as the progression of this thing goes through towards the city?
I'm just gonna have like my head down. I'm gonna be like covering my hood over my face and just being like absolutely miserable. So I'm not saying a word right now. Just trudging along.
Keefe, what about you?
I'm probably gonna be trying to like, I guess like learn some magical properties of like the snow and cold around us to try and like harness it for future sort of fights that we might get into. So just kind of like playing around with some of the things around us.
Oh, sorry. Let me just contextualize this statement that you're interested in exploring here. You want to potentially interact with the instantaneously deadly magical storms outside.
But
in
we're
order to
warm.
learn
We're
something.
warm, right? Like
You're warm, but you're also protected by this like impenetrable thing of Master Minkledon scale replicas.
okay.
It's kind of like moving as an armored caterpillar shifting through the snow. And if anyone moved outside of it for even just a little bit, they would be instantaneously obliterated and frozen to death.
Okay, then I'm just chilling, watching my space heater.
All right, fair enough. MWB? I mean, sorry, Laszlo. I mean, that is part of your name. LMWBD.
Yes, I my middle name is very long. MWB is totally fine. I just kind of steel myself for the rigorous adventure ahead, not wasting any energy on speaking.
And Prue, how are you enjoying the weather?
Just very quietly walking along with everyone else, mumbling, I hate winter. I hate winter. I hate winter. I hate winter. I hate winter.
Fair enough. Well, as you're walking along, you can hear a couple of other people with you. Dolan's, again, he's not very affected by the cold. He's still completely naked. You're curious as to if his blood has just been replaced by whiskey at this point, is why he can just, like, do that. But he's just kind of, like, walking along happily as the whole thing moves and goes, I'm really excited. Are you excited? Are you guys excited?
You might be one of the most curious individuals I've ever met.
Thank you. I like that compliment. A curious individual. That's me. Dolan, the curious individual.
I think perhaps if I had a beard that large that covered most of me, I would also be fine with this.
And aren't you, like, partially drunk anyways? I think we'd all enjoy something this much if we were
I didn't
drunk.
I didn't bring anything, unfortunately, to facilitate more alcohol. But you all seem fine, and I'm sure we'll get there soon enough. We'll just, keep shuffling along with this construct.
I'm gonna, like, open up look into my, like, coat, and Pip is gonna be, like, snuggled in, all, like, cozy, and I'm gonna be like, you doing all right, little one? You're keeping me pretty warm. And she's just gonna hear a... All right, that's my princess. Okay. And then I'm just gonna keep shuffling along.
All right. Eventually, as you guys kind of all continue forwards, there's a lot of familiar faces in here with you. And pretty much everybody on board the ship who's kind of combat capable has come out on this expedition. And as you feel this device kind of moving forwards, it essentially starts a strange shuffling, like rapid shuffling motion, and you can feel it burrowing deeper and deeper into what appears to be a lot of snow and ice, making a loud grinding noise as it kind of makes its way further and further into the snow encasing the city, until it comes to a halt in a large open cavern of ice and snow. It's very echoey in there, and you can kind of feel this thing come to a stop abruptly, and there's a bit of a tense moment where everybody's like, is it cool? Are we cool? Are we good? And then eventually Siphius, through a lot of very intense thought and analysis of the area around him, pulls back a section of the covering, leaving everyone to begin exploring the city beneath the snow. And as this construct kind of starts opening up on the left and right for everyone to start pouring out, you can see that there is a massive stone city in all directions that is... It's like tunnels of ice and snow everywhere. There's bits of stone and buildings sticking up everywhere that you look, but the majority of what you see is almost like you're inside a semi-hollow mountain of just frozen everything. It tinkles and glitters in the light, and as you guys kind of take in the whole spectacle of everything, you just get this sense that something here is wrong. And at that point, we take our first break. Hey, everybody. Just taking a little moment out of our day here to ask you guys if perhaps you'd like to contribute a little bit financially to our endeavors here. See, we have a Patreon going on right now. And if you go to our Patreon, !Patreon, in the chat to get the link, if somebody could maybe post that for me there. Thanks a lot, Kiri. Love you, doll. So, just a reminder to all of you there that we need a lot of effort that goes into this stuff, and sometimes to make that effort worth it, we got to get paid. And some of you have already been doing that, and it's been fantastic. We love it. It's great. The support is amazing. But you know what there isn't a ceiling on? Love. And if you guys want to add some more love into the big old bucket of love that we're currently experiencing, all you got to do is go down to that Patreon and contribute anything, even $1. If it's just $1, that's cool. We still love you, and we know that you love us. Or if you want to get into a higher tier, boy, do we have some fun stuff for you, especially at the $20 or higher tiers. The $20 or higher tiers let you join the Pantheon of Patrons. The Pantheon of Patrons, essentially, is our Pantheon of gods in the world, and those gods are you guys. Yes, that's right. You can be a god in our world if you sign up on our Patreon. And if you look on the left or right of me, I don't know how the camera is oriented right now, you can see our current Pantheon of Patrons. We have ourselves 8 fantastic demigods and 2 full-on gods in our Pantheon right now. But you know what? There's always room for more. What is it being a god in our adventure? Well, let me tell you, when you're a god in our adventure, you get the ability to be called upon during our adventures and potentially offer your divine blessing to our players should you wish to impart your favor. Or you can say no and ruin their day. Either way, it's a good time and we love it. So why not consider donating today? And, just thanks a bunch to all of you for being here. So we rejoin our party within the frozen city that they have now entered. They have flown the Velvet Empress through a very large amount of shitty weather to a city buried far, far beneath the snow in the furthest northern parts of the continent, somewhere that nobody they are aware of has ever been before. Now you're here, it looks like everything is a little off. Things feel kind of wrong. Parts of everywhere you look almost seems like distorted. The air is kind of warped in places, and you're not entirely sure if this place is safe for you to be. And as all of you kind of start piling out of the walkie-majiggy that I didn't name, that Siphius built, his patented scaly walkie-majiggy, you guys are now free to enter the. Sorry, the bees in what you said there, Jared, made me laugh.
What do I bees on?
Just leave it on the world map for now.
Okay.
Eventually we'll get to the point where you guys are exploring. But yeah, now you're inside this big frozen world, or this frozen city. There's kind of like a dome of ice and snow above where you are right now, and you can see lots of different like tunnels and melted passageways through the years inside. Some buildings are a little bit visible, but you get the sense that maybe at some point you should head towards the center to kind of like figure out what's a little more going on. But there's a lot of ground to cover, and as you're all just kind of sitting there, Siphius walks over and goes, "Now, I'm getting a very, very off feeling about this place, but I believe we should separate into groups and cover as much ground as we can on this expedition. What do you all think?"
I mean, sure. Sounds good.
Kip, are you distracted?
No, not at all. Not at all.
What about you, Keefe? Do you have any anything to say on this point?
Let's get going.
Laszlo?
I'm fine with going into smaller groups.
All right, Prue?
Although, isn't that a rule? Never split the party? Are we splitting the party?
Your party isn't being split. There's 4 of you. It's fine. It's a party.
That's metagaming. I feel like so long as we stay with our core little group here, we probably will be fine. I'm not feeling great about everybody else who's splitting off, but we should be good.
Can we have Dolan with us at least?
Yeah.
Dolan is already kind of wandering off into the distance.
Dolan.
Dolan. Oh, that's not Dolan. That's Siphius. Sidious! Dallin!
Sidious, no, not you.
Dallin!
No.
Dallin!
He unfortunately doesn't hear you, as he's currently deep in a conversation with Codcar about something as they wander off in a group already with a couple of other fellows from the mercenary company. So it just leaves, everyone seems to have already had Siphius's idea and split off, and in the time that this conversation has occurred, it's now just Siphius standing there with his stone singers and the four of you.
Well, I definitely don't want to be with these guys. Should the four of us just go?
Just
to get...
yeah, sure. Nothing ever goes wrong when it's just the four of us.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Nope.
All right.
Let's go.
Siphius is like, it seems everyone has the same idea. Why don't you four head more central in the city and see if you can find perhaps a control building or something of that sort. Also, did someone bring their cat? I'm hearing a cat. Is there?
I'm trying to keep my focus.
I think
didn't
Pip
realize-
is trying to be... Pip, are you trying to become a cat or something? What are you doing? I think it was Pip making weird little meowing noises. Sorry, guys.
Judy's humping her, and I'm trying to like keep it together because she just sounds so pained. She's like, anyways, I will mute from now on.
Wow. All right. Siphius kind of shakes that off and goes, right. Well, is that okay with you all? Is that head towards the center?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, let's go. Let's fucking go. I think I'm allergic to the snow mold or something. I can't stop coughing.
All right. So Dara, now we are transitioning to another view.
I see.
And yes, if you go to the bottom
There
left
you go.
corner, you should be able to see where everybody is.
Ooh, icy times.
Mm-hmm. All right. So after some wandering towards the central area of the snow-covered city, eventually you kind of work your way into a smaller network of very narrow, icy tunnels, but they seem to continue heading on towards this central area. And as you guys reach further and further in, you come to a crossroads. And now what you see before you is where you guys are currently at. So what, as a party, where would you guys like to go? Would you guys like to go left, or would you like to go right?
Always go left, right? Is that our thing?
Left is always right.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. So you guys kind of start making your way together. You know, you all have control of your tokens, so why don't you just
Alright.
awkwardly start moving
I'm
everything?
on top of Nixus.
Oh, oof.
Ooh, I'm in between Nixus and Laszlo. It's a fucking sandwich party.
You guys can
Sorry.
keep following that. Why don't you...
I'm going to take the liberty of returning health to myself.
Oh, right, I didn't update you. Yeah, so it turns out that that period didn't work at all for your recovery, and you're now just a cripple forever.
No,
No,
Wait.
yeah, you're good. You're good. Also, one thing I should note is that you guys have all earned a whole slew of more. Prue, where are you going? You just let me help you out there for a sec. Let's all just stop moving for a sec before we fall off the map and die, shall we? I've awarded you all behavior points for your exceptionalism in helping thwart the attempts at overthrowing the government in the City of Unity and all that jazz. So you now all have a pool of behavior points to draw from.
Wait, actually? Is that the one on the right?
The blue
Oh,
blue
cool.
number on the far right.
Mhm.
You all have a replenishment of behavior points for daring and inventive undertakings over the months where we weren't broadcasting. All right, you guys continue to journey your way along this frozen hallway until you come to another intersection.
Okay. Stop shoving chocolate in my mouth. Or
So if
Elven
you guys-
friendship brownies.
Yeah, friendship brownies.
Mm, 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 mm.
All right. So you reach this intersection, and now you have the choice of, again, going left or right. Am I safe to assume that perhaps you'll be going left, or
Uh-huh.
you...
Right,
Maybe we should go right this time.
Mm.
I don't know. Party vote. Okay, let's do it. Quick vote. All those in favor of going right, raise your hand. All those in favor of
Girls
going
win.
left. All right. The vote has it.
You know, the thing is, though, MWV made these, and now I'm worried because he probably knows what's left and what's right, and we're making the bad decision.
This is fine. We're fine.
Laszlo
snuggling?
has no knowledge of this map.
Snuggle time. Sure. Right. Okay. All right. Left again, I assume.
Oh, sorry. I got really excited. I was like, what's down here?
Whoops.
I imagine Kifi just running down the hall like,
Yeah.
no!
All right, you guys going left in the fork here?
Oh, shit.
Okay. All right. So who's Kifi? Are you going to continue leading the charge?
Now I'm scared.
Yeah, no, I'll go first. It's fine. I'll go first.
All right, Prue,
This
you
is
go
fine.
first.
You. Da 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 me.
All right,
That's
as you
what
guys
you
are, you come to a stop on this frozen hallway because up ahead, goddamn cat. Yeah, you can see what looks to be a figure, kind of encased in the ice. It looks to be partially submerged, and as you're going through these tunnels, you get the sense that something has been chaotically clawing out these tunnels. They're not natural formations. Things look like they've been burrowed. And as you look at this figure, you realize that it's an exact copy of the stone automaton you guys fought in Edders, in the sewer of Edders, but it's not moving. It's just kind of sitting there, not really doing anything.
Everybody
How would you
string up their
guys?
singing? Everybody. Warm up those vocal cords.
What? We fought an automaton?
So when you
remember this?
when you were in the sewers at the end of chapter 1
Yeah.
in Edders, there was a stone automaton like this one that was made of like a combination of stone and metal and stuff that was in the ceiling. And that was what you guys knocked out of the ceiling and beat to death, basically.
You don't remember the invisible tentacle you were trapped in?
Laszlo! How many times do I have to say that I have a lot of elven friendship brownies, and people say that causes memory loss, and I guess they're right.
That's a very
You have
specific
to be
thing
sensitive.
to remember, Laszlo.
Jeez.
Yeah.
We were in the poopy water and almost died. How
Wow,
could you forget?
the pieces of this story that you remember, Laszlo,
Some
are
things
just
are pretty traumatizing that you just blank out of your mind forever because they were traumatizing. Also, or whatever. I kind of remember.
All right.
That's how
well,
we saved the city of Edders. What the
Were we there for that? I don't remember.
I don't think that was us, guys. I think that was those other kids.
am I the lone historian of our adventure? What the hell?
Specifically, yes.
Probably, yeah.
all right. Well, now that we've all caught up on what you're doing, there's another one of these things in the buried in the wall, and it's not moving at the moment. What would you like to do?
Should we knock on it?
Do we want to wake it up? Do you think if we knock on it? It's encased in quite a lot of ice.
We could tie him up with rope.
I mean, that is kind of our MO.
I don't think we can get to him. That's like 2 feet worth of ice.
Hmm. Yeah, something tells me we go past that thing and it's just gonna break on through and try to get us. What do we want to?
Maybe.
What do you?
I say we do
Well-
like always and just kind of barrel forward without thinking.
Yeah, that seems like
All right, I'll go first.
All right. Feel like that's gonna come back and kick us.
I
in
feel
the
like
butt.
Laszlo truly understands us as a family.
Prue, as you're about to walk past this thing, you can feel that the area in front of you, in front of this thing, nobody else can really feel it. It's very subtle, but you are able to pick up on this, that there is a dampening field almost in front of you. It feels like time isn't working so good in front of you. Like maybe you get this impending sense that if you walk any farther forward, it might make the process of you walking forward take longer than you would like it to. But only you feel this. Everyone else can see a bit of like a shimmer. But
I'm gonna stop then. I'm gonna stop then and turn around. There's some timey-wimey bullshit up here. I don't know what exactly is going on, but it feels real funky. Keefe, do you want to come here for a second, see if maybe it's like just from like maybe it's a height thing? Do you want to
Yeah,
step in
yeah.
front, see if maybe if we go low?
Let's feel this timey-wimey. I'm just gonna stand like with my arms out like.
okay. You get the impression that this whole area forwards for like a decent amount of the entirety of the space it covers is that same kind of like feeling. You could try maybe throwing something in it, or you know.
Throwing something in it?
Okay, I
Yeah.
pick Keefe up. I'm gonna throw the gnome. I'm not gonna throw the gnome.
I can always toss a gold coin in. I don't have much use for that right now.
Yeah, I don't
It's
really.
you're gonna throw a coin down the hallway? Is that what you're gonna do?
Yes.
All right, Laszlo. You throw a coin down the hallway, and as you toss it, it starts to go towards like past the automaton, and it stops in midair, like it just. Whoop, and as you watch, it starts going forward like. Very inch by inch. You get the sense that it would probably take weeks for it to reach the other end of where you threw it.
I think we should turn around.
You know, not a bad idea. I've never seen that in my life.
Nope, not interested.
I don't want to mess with that.
Nope.
Yeah. let's-
I am going to, just to kind of like help us guide our way through here, I'm going to try and just generate like an endless amount of rope and kind of throw it into the void. So hopefully it kind of like sticks as an anchor point for us. And I'm going to take like, you know, like breadcrumbs, I'm going to do that with rope basically and anchor it in this timey-wimey.
I mean, sure, you can, and it's just normal rope, right?
Yeah, it's just normal rope.
Okay, that's fine.
But I'm
You
just
can-
basically throwing it in there as if it was going to keep moving, but it's going to move so slowly it could like anchor it there or try to make that happen.
Okay, well, like anything you do magically, just roll me a straight d20, but you, as long as it's not a crit fail, you're fine.
I rolled so good. And
Yeah.
Okay, a 7. It happened.
fine.
It's fine.
It doesn't matter. As long as, when it's something that you've mastered, you always have to roll for it, but as long as it's not a 1, it just goes off, it's fine. So, the rope, so you're kind of like shooting a string of it to then keep going with?
Yeah, like shooting one end of it there, and then I'm going to kind of like start walking with the other end, just so we kind of have like a trail back to this spot.
Okay, so you aim this rope that you're casting into the like time goop essentially, and as it starts going in, it slows, and then more of it keeps feeding in, and it just kind of keeps feeding rope piling onto itself into a big pile. It's still going. You're slowly filling this slow void with rope.
Oh, I like thought it would move slower because like the other thing moved so slow. So.
Well, your rope moving at the speed that you're putting it in is going normally, but it's hitting this like swamp of time and like bunching up and still going into it, right?
Oh, okay.
But if you want, you can stop it by like tugging and like.
Yeah, I'll just cut the rope essentially and like give up on that idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You cut the rope, and now there's just like this giant bunch of rope and a gold coin very slowly moving down the hallway at like a snail's pace. But if the snail was like stuck in this time shit. Right, so is he gonna turn around? Is team gonna turn around?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
already starting to walk that way. I'm like, no, fuck this.
Some timey-wimey bullshit.
Yeah, I don't fucks with that.
All right, you've made your way back to the
Should
intersection.
have listened to Laszlo.
At the intersection, we go left.
So like that way?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Oh God, we don't learn.
All right, so you can see more of this kind of like coming up there, and then there's another side area, and as you look down it, you can see what appears to be another kind of robot automaton stuck in the ice, not moving at all. And there's that same kind of like warpy, timey, swampy bullshit kind of to the left.
Straight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, straight.
All right, fair enough. So you guys kind of start moving forwards into the hallway there, and stop, about where I've cut it off. And as you do this, you can kind of hear like a weird noise coming from behind you. And as you look behind you, there's kind of like a bit of a shimmer and a manipulation in the walls, kind of around back in the intersection that you've kind of come from. And as you look backwards, you can see it looks kind of like a bunch of like goopy black jello coming down the hallway.
Oh no. What's that? What on earth
And
is that?
it's kind of carving its way through the ice a little bit as it starts kind of making its way very slowly but methodically through the cavern. It's sort of carving open a little bit more space as it's traveling, and it just starts kind of slowly coming up behind you guys.
Or what?
Can we keep going forward? Can we just push on?
Yeah, you want to see more of the hallway?
Yes, please.
Yep.
All right, cool.
Start walking
Just like
briskly.
panic running.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, as you
Oh,
keep
no.
coming up, there's like a fork there in the passageway, and behind you, this thing is slowly kind of creeping its way up the hallway. It's filling the entirety of the space behind you as well. Like there's nowhere to move around it, and it's not so much carving away through the ice as it is just unmaking the ice it touches a little bit, like it kind of in the directions around it. So it's expanding and moving out. So you get to, this other branch here. You guys can see that this part here, and then there's this part here. And as you're looking down this hallway, you can kind of make out another passageway on the right, and there's a passageway on the left there. And where would you like to go?
Well,
This
there's
place doesn't have a thingy.
there's a thing over there. Another automaton.
That's
Let's
right.
go
As you
left.
look over in the right, you can
Let's go
see that
left.
it's a little bit shiny and the same kind of like goopiness. So I take it from the movement of your tokens, you're all going up.
Yep.
All right, fair enough. So as this blob kind of keeps coming up behind you guys, there's the left and right kind of tunnels there. And
Laszlo, which way?
Yeah. Hey Laszlo, where do you think we should go?
I have no idea. No idea. Maybe left.
All right.
Perfect. Left is always right.
Left is always right, right?
Laszlo, we're losing you.
So you guys are gonna
Oh
go
God.
down the left hallway? Is that the idea?
Yeah, we are.
All right, cool. You can see it going, but about this point in the middle of it, hold on. You kind of start going forwards, all of you, as this thing is moving into the tunnel behind you all.
Oh, it's following us. No.
And it's at this point that we will resolve the vote that everyone has voted upon. So for those of you who aren't familiar with it, we have a vote up for Twitch picks. So you can go ahead and cast your votes now to see what's going to happen when I resolve this shenanigans. So go ahead, last chance to cast your votes. I know there's a stream delay, so I'll just fill this air with noise. Bodhi votes a lot. Cast your vote, doodle-doo. If you are hearing just the end of this song, it's too late. Fuck. All right. That's enough time to give everybody their last chance votes. All right, we are going to resolve the vote now. So as the party makes their way down this hallway, they come to a stop as the air starts to shimmer before them. And the poll was Rocks Fall, and the result with 52% of the vote is, as you guys look forwards into this hallway, the air starts to warp, and you can kind of feel that reality is being a little distorted. And the ceiling starts to kind of cave in a bit, but the rocks from the ceiling, as they're falling forward, start turning into pie. So there's pies now, and kind of as you guys watch the
What kind of pie?
I'm like looking in my bag for my bread knife. Like, where did I put that thing?
I'm like very interested. I'm like, that is a
I'm
really great thing
I
to
could
happen.
really use a mid-adventure
I'm
snack
kind of
right
hungry.
about
Yeah,
now.
we've been running for a while now, and I could go for some of that.
I'm sure Pip could just eat us away through the pies.
You know,
I could do that.
yeah, yeah. I think we all could.
why can't
It
it be
depends on
Rocks
what
Fall?
kind of-
Everyone is happy.
Depends on the kind of pie, to be honest.
Fair enough. Well, the rocks, which are currently now sitting here, are pies, but they look like rocks on the map because I didn't have any pie.
Sit.
Now your way that way is kind of cut off, and as you can hear this thing kind of shuffling through, carving more space behind you. Is there perhaps another route you guys want to take?
Run the other way! Run the other way!
Yeah, run the other way as fast as we possibly can. Oh God.
Fifi just runs through all of their legs like, oh!
She eats herself away.
I yeet myself out of that passageway.
All right, fair enough. So you
I
can still
yeet
hear
myself. That
this
sounds awful.
Oh God.
big
Hurry up, Prue! Go
blob kind
faster!
of
It's
coming down
coming!
the hall behind you guys.
Go faster! Laszlo's like jumping through the walls over here.
Oh,
So.
oh God.
I'd like to ask you to refrain from wall hacks while we play
Wall
the game.
Laszlo!
Okay, why does that keep coming
Got
up?
a quick hack in reality, Laszlo.
Ugh,
You're clicking on a token, Dara.
it's so annoying.
I don't know why it's doing that.
I don't
That's very
either.
strange.
I-
But you reach another intersection.
Left or right? Left or right?
Left is always right. Left is always right.
Left.
Left?
Wait.
Right,
I don't.
right. I feel like
Where-
somewhere
where
over
you
there was that automaton, I think. I'm
Where are
all
you guys
turned
gonna
around,
go?
Oh
but
yeah, let's go this way.
Also,
left,
Dara,
right.
You should zoom out a little bit on roll 20.
Which way?
Right. I don't know.
Okay, are you going here or are you going here?
Like down, right?
Down?
Do we want to
You
go
guys are
down?
going down?
Do you guys want to go down? I don't know.
She said down.
Just go for it.
Okay, let's go down. Let's go down, down, baby.
Yeah, you guys are just gonna go
They're
down
already gone.
into
They just
the,
yeah, the darkness. They're like, where are we going?
Me and M-Dub are like, see ya.
All right, cool. So as you guys continue onwards, you can see that there's two branching off kind of like hallways, and then further south. But further south here, there is another one of those stone automatons buried in the ice. However, it doesn't look like there's any shimmering effect around it.
Oh,
Think we can go past it? Do we want to go past it, or do
I think
we
we gotta
just
go
want to
fast, whatever we decide to do.
I'm gonna try and detect magic next to it.
All right, cool. Roll me a d20. Just unmodified. It's fine. Yeah, it's not.
Oh, okay.
As far as you can tell, there's nothing weird about it. It's not enchanted. It doesn't even look like it's functional. It's kind of just stuck there in the ice. It's really firmly entrenched. But you do have to. There's so little space that you guys are gonna have to wedge yourself against it to scooch by. Like you're gonna have to hug it to move past it, basically.
Okay. Let's give it a little huggle.
Is that what you're gonna do?
Yeah.
Yes, let's
Yeah, let's do it.
go
Let's do it.
for
Let's do it. Let's do it. Gotta
We
hit
gotta,
start.
we
Go,
gotta
go,
start making
go, go.
decisions, or else this thing is gonna eat our buttholes.
All right. Well, hold on. We've got an order to this. So who's gonna go first?
Oh.
Back it up. Sorry, back
I
it.
guess
Back
since I was detecting magic, I'm just gonna try and just sneak past it.
But you
Like,
can't
still
sneak.
cautious.
You have to make contact with it just to get through the whole. There's enough of it to kind of
Even
climb
me?
around it. Even you. It's not as much as everyone else.
Okay, well, I'm gonna just cautiously try and move past.
All right. Roll me a d20 unmodified.
Oh god.
Okay, you're fine. You
Okay.
squeeze past it. It doesn't do anything. Laszlo, are you going next?
Yes.
All right, cool. As you kind of squish up to it, I'm gonna need you to roll me a d20. Unmodified. Ooh. You kind of have a bit of a moment with it where it sort of starts cracking and leaning out of the ice a bit, but you realize it's because of your movements. It's not actually moving on its own. But you get a little caught up in it, and it's just really unpleasant because as you're struggling with this issue, this blob is still moving down the back of the hallway a little bit closer to everybody. But eventually you squeeze in onto the other side. Now, Kip, are you going to go next?
Sure.
All right, go ahead and roll me an unmodified d20, pretty please.
I'm gonna get fucked.
Oh, it's more of the same with Laszlo's experience. He can kind of, you're like, oh, I'll do a much better job of this, and then you just get caught on the fucking thing, and you're like, a little panicky, but it's not reacting, it's not doing anything. So you kind of squeeze on by, and now that leaves Prue. Prue, are you gonna squeeze on by there?
Squeezing through.
Okay, cool. Give me a modified d20.
Oh,
This thing's
damn.
getting
Oh,
closer.
Nice. You just you
I backflip over it.
Yeah, you're whoop, just through the little slot. Don't even touch the thing. And now all of you are on the other side of this automaton. And as you come through, you can see what looks to be a really shimmery looking ice wall, and then another hallway down there that leads to yet another kind of frozen stuck in the ice automaton, and the blob is now kind of continuing.
Move.
Let's go, go,
forward,
go, go,
forward,
go,
forward,
go, go,
go.
Laszlo, move your booty!
And as you kind of you sort of sit there, and the blob stops at this automaton, just short of it. And you guys are now just kind of sitting there wondering what the hell it's doing. It's not really doing anything at the moment. It doesn't seem all that keen on moving past this thing. And you guys are now stuck. It looks like down south, this is more shimmery, timey-wimey stuff. You don't really see a way through it. And then this ice wall here is kind of cracked. It looks almost breakable. It's very shimmery, and it almost looks like it leads to a space on the other side of it. You can see through it, there's figures and a room shimmery through this thin sheet of ice. The blob isn't moving. What are you guys going to do in this moment?
I think I have an idea, guys.
What's
Go
that?
on.
I'm gonna try and sort of supercharge my little floating space heater and try and Kamehameha through the snow wall or the ice wall.
Okay. So do you want to like charge it with like kinetic energy kind of and send it through while it's still being hot?
Yeah.
Mm,
I mean, I was just thinking I would heat it up since I can generate fire, like heating it up really hot and then just kind of like using like not the force, but a magic force to push it really fast through the wall.
all right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Tell you what, I'll let you do that, and I'll even give you a +1.
Excuse me.
So roll me a d20 at a +1, and we'll see how well that goes.
A
Nice.
5?
All right, you take the one source of heat that's giving you all the most comfort in this area right now in this frozen hellhole that is like minus like 30 at least in this area, and you go whoop with the ball, and it sticks into the ice wall, and then it kind of starts burrowing through, and then it goes into the room beyond, and now there's a small ball-sized hole in the wall.
Shit.
I brought some special ammunition with me for this trip. Maybe I should try to shoot the wall with my guns.
All right, what are you gonna do? What do you want to load up?
I have some gems here. I'm going to put a handful of diamonds in each thunder and lightning and fire them both at the same time.
You're gonna put diamonds in them. Okay.
Yes.
That's cool. You only really need one gem in each, so you're going to load each with a diamond?
Yes.
All right, and then you're pointing at the wall.
Yes.
All right, cool. Roll me a d20 at like a plus... Well, you don't need to... It's just an unmodified. You're not going to not hit the wall. I just want to see how this goes. So unmodified d20. Neat. So the good news is... you point your pistols at the wall, and the pistols shoot, and things come out. And luckily, nobody dies.
Oh.
The downside is electricity arcs from your guns, and it doesn't really melt anything so much as it shatters parts of the wall, and then kind of like cascades down the hallway. And it makes a couple of little like clinking noises as the lightning kind of ricochets around and blasts off the walls and stuff. And it narrowly misses a couple of people's heads. So you've kind of cracked the wall, but otherwise you just filled the hallways with like ricocheting lightning.
My bad.
So you said there's a hole in the wall, right?
Yeah, it's shattered a little bit more from a lightning attack, and then there's a little ball-sized hole in it.
How high up is the hole?
It's Keefe height, so
Perfect.
it's like
I'm
below
gonna
your junk.
Scoot Keefe over and be like, look through that hole. What's on the other side?
Oh yeah, that's smart, Prue. That's real smart. I'm just gonna like look through. What do my gnome eyes see?
That's fair.
Prue, the only logical. Just like look through the hole.
Hold on. Let's do this fancy like.
Hold on.
Hold on. There you go. That's about as much as you can see into the room. Keefe, you can make out a figure standing completely motionless on a stone platform, like a part of the stone that is still jutting out from this area. And there's another figure kind of like further into the ice that's almost kind of half submerged in the ice. And it's 10 feet tall.
Oh yeah, so I see two popsicle sloths about 10 feet tall. They look real grumpy. Yeah, I think there's two. I see some more. Are those pies?
Sloth?
They're you know, like take a sloth and take its hair off and then freeze it like an otter pop, and that's what these guys are. Only make it 10 feet tall.
Huh.
Cool. Yeah, so that's what you see in there. And you also notice that nothing is moving, like at all. Like they're not breathing. They're not shifting. They look like they're held in place.
Yeah, nothing's moving.
So does anyone else want to try anything?
I say I just keep bombarding the wall, and you guys stand back. It's bound to break.
With lightning.
No, I have different gems.
Okay.
Could you try melting it with your magic too?
Yeah, I can try again.
As you're kind of like watching this occur, the blob down at the other end of the hallway here starts to kind of like dig its way through the wall a bit.
Maybe we should do a combined assault and shoot it at the same time. Get this ice wall down.
So who's shooting what here?
Well, Keefe can melt it and I can shoot it.
Yep. I have let's see, hold on. See if I can do this. Oh God, can you see that?
What the hell? What is that?
It's supposed to be my ball, but I couldn't draw a circle.
Wait, we can draw in this thing?
Oh, nope, you can't draw on this thing. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Oh my God.
No.
It's fine. There's no drawing. There's no drawing.
How do I do?
Nope. It's cool. Right, so Laszlo and Keefe, what was your plan again?
I'm gonna heat up my ball.
Okay, your orb of light that's in the room?
Yeah, or I'm just gonna shoot some fire at this ice wall.
Okay, so you're just gonna like fire hose, and then what are you gonna do, Laszlo?
I'm going to shoot at the cracks. Just
Okay.
one
Shoot at the
after
crack.
another.
With what?
I have rubies. I'm going to try some rubies.
Okay,
with my
cool.
gun.
Nice. And then Prue, are you gonna do anything?
I'm gonna move right up here just in case that blob comes down. Try
Okay.
to slow it down.
And Kip, what are you gonna do?
Stop drawing dicks. I still haven't quite figured it out, but I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna back up a little bit. Wait, what did Prue do?
Prue's watching the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will. If Prue's got that covered, I'm gonna watch this guy, but the automaton, make sure he does.
All right, cool. So Keefe and Laszlo are both combining their attacks. Laszlo, you're loading up rubies. Keefe, you're just like fire flamethrowering it basically.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I want you both to roll me. You know what? Let's say +4 for both of your rolls.
Me and
D20
Keefe?
+4. Nope. Laszlo and Keefe.
Oh. Okay.
That was a +4. God damn it.
You should know
Alright.
at this point that we roll incredibly low.
Yeah. Shush. Okay, so you're with combining your efforts. What? What are you laughing?
The dick.
What? Where?
Oh no.
Who drew that? I didn't draw that. Why is it incomplete?
God damn it. All right. You got 5 seconds to remove the dick from the player before everyone takes -2 behavior points.
Oh no.
Five, 4,
How do we remove
3,
it?
2.
Oh
I'm typing it in.
How do you remove
We don't
it?
know how to remove
We
it.
don't know how to remove it. Oh God.
All right, there we go.
Show it to the class. Here's our dick. We did.
We did it, Dad. All right, cool. So you guys attack the wall, Keefe manages to do like a decent steady stream of fire that starts melting it. And Laszlo, did you 1 ruby in each gun?
Yes.
Okay, and you just kind of double barreled it?
Yes.
All right, cool. Your pistols are now shooting fire out of them. They're kind of like focally, like they've turned temporarily into flamethrowers, basically. So they're just kind of like engulfing the ice. And you can feel the ice wall kind of starting to melt as both of you kind of focus this effort. And as you do so, the blob starts tunneling back through the
God.
wall.
Oh no.
And coming towards you all.
Oh God.
Right in
Prue,
front of Prue.
look out!
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
We need to get into this room, yeah?
Yeah, but it's working. It's just not going fast
Okay.
enough. It's melting. Everything's starting to come apart. You guys have 2 focused like flames going on it. It's starting to drip, and it's going at a pretty good rate. If you had maybe like a couple more minutes, you would definitely be through in time.
I make a drastic move. I push Keefe out of the way, and I just kind of shoulder tackle the wall.
You're gonna shoulder tackle it to try and shatter it. Now that it's been weakened?
Yes.
All right. Is anyone else going to do anything?
Yes. Can I turn Pip into a rock monster to smash it?
Yeah. If you want Pip to turn into a rock monster and smash the wall, Pip definitely can.
I call upon my trusty Pomeranian Pip to turn into a rock monster!
All right. Pip does that.
Great. She looks like she's ready to do that.
Yeah. It doesn't look it, but that dog turns into a big creepy rock creature.
Excellent. Good
and
job.
now you tell Pip to shoulder check the wall with Laszlo, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you roll for that just real quick? Just roll me a d20 unmodified.
Nope.
Okay, she gets the idea. And then, so Keefe, what are you gonna do in response to this? Are you gonna try to just keep the flyer going and move out of the way, or?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna help as much to try and get us through the wall.
So keep the fire going, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Cool. And Prue, are you gonna do anything?
I'm just keeping myself between them and the rock monster currently.
The blob.
Yep. Or sorry, yes, not the rock monster, the blob monster.
Okay, cool. So I want everyone except for Prue to roll me an unmodified d20.
Oh my God! Why?
All right. There's a good effort. There's a massive crack forming in it. It looks like you guys can get in. If like one good solid hit takes this thing out. Meanwhile, Prue, you're getting real uncomfortably close to this blob, and there's no way that you could really push it or anything. You get the sense that like everything in your senses is telling you that touching this thing would be the worst
Like a
thing.
really,
you could
really bad
possibly-
idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull out my staff real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a swing at it.
At the blob?
At the blob. I'm gonna try and keep it at a distance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to put any go juice into that, or do you
No,
just
just a
wanna...
regular snick.
All right, smack with your stick. All right, cool. Roll me in a modified d20. Nice. You smack the stick into it real head on like that. It looks like it. If it was anything that wasn't this blob, you would have probably like broken its neck if you had hit it in the head or something like that, right? Unfortunately, what ends up happening when you hit this blob is the stick starts to pass through it, gets stuck, and then the parts that are inside of it dissolve and disappear.
Yep. Figured that might be what that was. I'm gonna back up.
All right, you're gonna back up. So you've got this weak ice wall. You guys are kind of trapped as this blob is starting to kind of move in on you guys. One more round of things. Kip, what are you gonna do?
Can I just have Pip try to bust through again?
Yep, you can do that.
Hit it again? Okay.
Okay, Keefe, are you gonna keep on the fiery pressure?
Yeah.
All right, Laszlo, what are you gonna do?
I'm still just hitting the crap out of this wall.
Okay. Prue, are you gonna do anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna get in on hitting the wall this time.
All right. Are you gonna use any go juice or?
No, regular.
Okay. All right. I want everybody to roll me another round of unmodified d20s.
Oh, wait,
please.
I put my brass knuckles on this time.
Oh, your obsidian knuckle dusters. All right. Cool. I'm gonna give Laszlo a +4. What was your gasp there? Kip?
Nothing.
Okay. Oh, nice. Well done, Laszlo. Well done, Prue. Well done, Kip. And Keefe?
I already rolled.
Oh, you rolled. Okay. Well,
Yeah, it just was a 5.
okay. So your fire starts petering out. You can't keep the flames going anymore, unfortunately. So you kind of, it's like, and you're like, ah, dicks. But it's fine because you did enough, and the combined might of Laszlo, Prue, and Kip, or I should say Pip. Well, everybody, literally everybody except for Keefe, just kind of like, bum rushes this wall. You hear the shattering sound of glass as everything kind of goes, and you kind of all move forward a bit more into the room. And as you do so, you also get to see a hell of a lot more of the room.
Oh, jeez.
Whoa, what is this place?
And as you kind of break in, you can see actually the entirety of the room
Oh, God.
as you come in. And
my.
you've shattered the wall and entered this room. And as you kind of stand there looking into it, the blob is still moving up behind you. Do you guys want to move fully into the room?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Feel free to move your
Okay.
tokens.
Where are we going?
Oh,
which
it's not
side are we
letting me.
going on?
Here, I'll help you out. There you
Oops, that's not what it.
go. God, it's because you're on draw. You got to move to select.
Shh. I drew
All right.
nothing.
Yeah, you drew nothing. As you guys kind of shoulder your way into this room, also, yeah, there you go. There you go. You're good. You're good. Just stay where the fuck you are now. The blob stops at the threshold of this like enclosure. The area inside is almost kind of like a perfect sphere in the ice. And all around you can see those automatons look like they're kind of coming out of the walls and are stuck. And everything in this room is moving, not at all. Nothing is moving. Not even breathing. Like, there isn't particles falling from the sky. Everything is just kind of like sitting there. And as you look back towards the entryway to this area, you can see that the blob is just kind of like waiting. It's not really doing anything. So now you guys are in this room. You can see 5 of those tall, 10-foot tall. They all look very intently focused on something in the center here. Also, I don't know who it is, but somebody is typing incredibly loudly.
Sorry, that's probably me.
Are
Yes.
these dudes are not encased in anything? They're just like, but they're not moving.
They're not moving. The one here is like up to its like ankles in ice.
Okay.
And then these 4 are standing on stones that are still kind of jutting out of the floor. And they're not moving,
Okay.
but they're just kind of sitting there.
Okay. I'm gonna
then-
look at. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, this inside the center here, they're all looking towards this ball of like strange looking energy. It looks like a translucent ball of the same kind of timey-wimey stuff that you saw in the hallways. And as you kind of look at it, it looks like it's kind of has these tendrils of it coming off into the ceiling and going off everywhere.
I'm gonna look at it, but I'm not gonna touch it or anything. I'm just gonna be like, Keefe, you ever seen anything like this? Looks pretty magical.
I can't say I have, but I'm sure we'll find a way to beat it.
Yes. Can I reach out and try to touch it?
You want to try and touch the orb?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good idea, Kip.
Yeah, you can start to do it.
Okay.
Does anyone want to do anything about that?
I want to run over to Kip and just kind of like grab her arm before she touches it and say, I don't think that's a good idea.
But it looks really pretty.
I'm gonna detect magic.
I think that's how it gets you.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and like detect if I can sense like what besides timey-wimey, can I get anything else about this orb?
Yeah, fair enough. Roll me a d20, just unmodified.
Timey-wimey?
There's magic here, all right, but it's really overwhelming, and whatever you try to get from like looking at this thing is overtaken by just a really nasty migraine you feel in your head every time you try to just think about what's in this room.
Well, that didn't work. So I really don't think you should touch it, though, Kip.
Okay, fine. I'm just gonna walk around and take a look at everything.
Laszlo, can you shoot it?
I don't think that's a good idea either.
Don't touch it, but definitely shoot it.
Yeah, well, then he's not gonna hurt himself. He could just like.
We have no idea what this thing is.
We could,
What, Prue?
just trying to think. Maybe I will touch it.
Prue, no, you can't. Just because I didn't let Kip touch it doesn't mean I'm gonna let you touch it.
No, maybe it'll be fine
Nah,
though.
Prue
Maybe.
can touch it.
Yeah, I think you should touch it, Prue.
Kip.
What if just pick up a piece of ice and huck it at it?
Okay.
You're gonna huck ice at it?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right.
Why
Is
do we
only
do
one
these
person hucking
things?
ice?
Yes, only one needs to huck.
Okay. Do you want to rock paper scissors, or who's gonna huck the ice?
I nominate Laszlo.
Sorry,
I just pick up a piece of ice and throw it.
Parchment.
Cool.
Shears, boulder, parchment shears.
Boulder person. Cheers. All right, cool. So Laszlo picks up a piece of ice before anyone can really decide on an order of thing and throws it at the orb. And as it sails towards it, it kind of like impacts with it and then just disintegrates entirely.
See, that's why I didn't want you to touch it.
Good thing we didn't touch it.
Yeah, I
I
guess.
pick up a second piece of ice and throw it, just in case that's not actually what happens twice.
All right, you throw the piece of ice and the same thing happens.
This is science, guys. This is how you do science.
So
As I'm walking around, can I like notice that? Do I notice anything or?
Yeah, so what you guys get from this room is that aside from these really tall creatures standing on the rocks, and one of them kind of submerged, they're all looking towards the orb. They all kind of look to be in a bit of a, like, they're really intensely focused on it. And then all of the automatons around the area have been submerged in centuries of ice and are pretty stuck. They're not really going to go anywhere. And you kind of see that there's shards of ice and snow around in the room, and otherwise it's just a big, perfect orb, like a half kind of like ball domed room. It almost looks like something has kind of preserved an entire full circle of invisible space, and it's like perfect. Like it's a perfect cut of a circle up until the floor in the middle, more or less.
The orb thing is?
So the whole room that you're in
Oh,
is
okay.
like a perfect top half of like a ball, essentially, like a dome.
I get really curious and touch one of these strange-looking creatures.
why we gotta touch everything? Touch this, touch that.
We're
All
so
right.
curious.
You touch the tall creature. How are you touching it, by the way? It's very tall, so you could only really like.
Just caress it. Just
I'm
go
just
all
I'm
in.
just kind of poking its belly.
You can't reach its belly. It's 10 feet tall.
Its knee. Can I touch its knee?
Yeah, you poke its knee. It's like touching super cold, immovable metal.
You know,
Like not
all right.
when you poke it, nothing happens beyond it feeling like really resistant to anything you try to do.
Guys, here's the thing. Whenever we go into rooms like these, I feel like these things come alive, we've got to fight them. Something tells me we're going to have to fight, like, everything in this room. And, like, what if we, like, warmed them up somehow and see what happens? Because, look, they're really cold, and they're, like, their feet are encased in some ice. What if we warmed up their little toes and see what happens?
Keefe, are you up to it?
Yeah. We've done a lot of fire today.
I say we, can I click on things? No. I say this one that Laszlo just touched, maybe we, like, warm its feet up, see what happens.
Okay, I'll just, because I don't really care, I'm just gonna try and flamethrower its feet. Just no fucks flamethrower.
No fucks flamethrower. I like
No
that.
fucks
That's a good
flamethrower.
spell name. You should write that down.
No fucks flamethrower.
All right, cool. You no fucks flamethrower its feet. What's anyone else gonna do?
Can I take out my torch that I have in my pack and light it and also add to it? Like, just hold it near its feet and warm it up?
Wait. You want to put a torch?
To its
Just like light a torch and
Yeah,
put near its feet.
near its feet to help Keefe with, like, just getting it to melt faster.
Okay, Laszlo, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna stand here in awe.
You should, like, ready your gun at it, Laszlo.
Prue, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna watch this dumpster fire. This looks great. I'm into it.
Cool. So, you guys do that. So why don't you both each roll me an unmodified d20 just to make sure everything goes swimmingly. Nice. Well, you're definitely going to use fire, but it's not going to go well.
Hey, I've lit a lot of fires.
Yes, you have, and it goes off. Like, the 8 was enough, but unfortunately, it kind of, like, travels up a bit into the robes of this creature that it's wearing. And likewise, Kip's torch kind of, like, slips a bit, and she lets go of it.
Let goes of it.
Let goes.
She let goes of it by I'm from Newfoundland. So she lets it go because the sudden startling flash of fire going up this thing was like, so you leave the torch there, and as you watch, the fire kind of like impacts on this thing, and nothing happens. Nothing sets on fire. It's almost like it touched stone practically. Nothing lights on fire. The torch is still just sitting there.
Well, I'm all out of ideas.
So the thing's on fire, but it's not moving?
It's not on fire. The fire didn't stick.
Oh, okay. But it didn't react to the fire at all.
It didn't react to the fire at all
Dang
either.
it. I really thought that was gonna
Laszlo
work.
should shoot it. I'm still going with Laszlo should just.
What about these stones? They have there's like grooves in them. Some kind of, maybe it means something. We should look at the stones.
What?
The ones that they're standing on?
Yes, I mean it's got to be something.
It looks decorative. There's no writing or anything. They have interesting patterns on them, and maybe you get the sense that if this room was still whole, it would form kind of like a pattern to do something in the room, maybe. But as the pieces that are kind of sticking out look right now, it's not really like any anything that you could like lever or do anything with. You could try, but it doesn't look that way.
Can we sense at all if these guys are they all deactivated? Like the one that was in the hall?
Well, they look much the same kind of immobile as the big tall guys in this room. They're not moving at all, and they're not even moving like like how things passively move when things aren't moving. It's like somebody put a 2D image in this room practically. They're that still.
Does anybody have an instrument?
I had it. I think I left it on the ship. AKA, I don't know where it is.
Fair.
I told Dylan that.
Do you guys remember that these things the rock monsters act super weird around music?
Yeah, are these? Yeah, that could be. Do we need to sing to it?
I don't know. We haven't. I mean, I don't know what else to try at this point, so I would sing to this thing.
Is that what you want to do?
Wait.
Somebody want to? What?
Could I just?
Do we all have to sing?
Could I just turn Pip into
Yes.
a Tomatona?
Did you find it?
No, I actually didn't, but I could pretend it's one.
I mean, yeah, you could turn Pip into an instrument if you want.
Run away from me! Ah! She's
Go get
running
her.
away from me. Can you grab her, Fiddle? Got her. Oh, nice try, little shit. Okay. All right. I call upon the power of my trusty Pomeranian Pip. Turn in to a Tomatona.
It did. It's just a small instrument. There's nothing really like hard about that.
Okay, guys. Any requests?
Something about it being cold.
Yeah, some kind of like let's warm up song.
Let's warm up song. Okay, ready? I'm gonna do the too hot, hot damn. Gonna bam, 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 bam. Okay, ready? Don't kiss me. Don't give me kisses right now. Totally good stuff.
I was just seeing how long you were gonna go for. All right. So as you
Incredible.
Thank you.
Kip and Pip,
Thank
you need to go viral.
Oh,
Incredible.
Tour, really.
Who needs a real automatona? Good job. It's like, what the fuck, Mom?
as you do that, you fill this room with the echoes of your music, and everyone's just kind of like, yeah, I love this jam. And nothing happens inside the room, but the blob outside the room looks really uncomfortable. Like it starts going like down the hall a bit. It just kind of stops there.
Well,
we know how to scare that thing off.
Yeah, the blob looks like it's in pain when when you do that.
I'm really at a loss. Should we like go maybe do a different way? Maybe this is something we come back to later. I don't really know.
It looks pretty important.
mm-hmm.
Are you sure that music is not the answer?
Music isn't the answer for this room, but you notice that it has an effect on the blob. That's about all music does in this situation. The blob don't like the tunes, but otherwise everything is still completely and utterly still. And you can even see that sort of tendrils of that same time energy is coming off of the orb and touching like the tops of everything in this room too, including the big tall guys. You get the sense that maybe the orb in the center of the room is kind of key to this whole experience.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna shoot it now?
Well, we threw stuff at it. Didn't
Yeah.
go very well, but Maybe if we all shoot something at the same time or attack it at the same time.
Maybe.
Just
Should we
no one
try it?
stand across from each other.
That's a good idea. Okay, let's do that. Let's all like attack it at the same time or something. Could can I get Pip back into rock form to attack it, and also can I take out my sword and attack it as well?
You get the impression that anything you use to touch this thing might be destroyed in the process.
Okay, so then I'll turn Pip into a bow and then just use an arrow to attack.
All right. So Kip's gonna turn Pip into bow form and shoot. Keefe, what are you gonna do?
I am going. Sorry.
Good job! You did it!
I'm gonna just shoot some fire at it. Why
Okay.
not? Nothing
like
can go wrong. Shooting fire into a time
Like a
warp.
ray of fire, kind of
Yeah.
like what you did to the monster in like the first episode.
Yeah, it looks icy. I'm gonna try it.
Okay. Laszlo, what are you gonna do?
I have some emeralds. I'm going to see what my gun does with emeralds.
Okay. And then Prue, are you
More
gonna
rocks.
do
I'm
anything?
gonna pick up some more like icy rocks and throw them.
You're gonna pick up some more icy rocks?
Yep.
Cool. Nice. That's a good idea. You're going to do all that, and then everyone's going to roll me a d20 unmodified. All right. Nope. That's
No, that's not what you think it is.
wow. Cool. So
True.
Prue has some luck with rocks apparently, with icy rocks, but Keefe's shooting literal like fire lasers out of her hands. She hasn't had enough time to recharge, so it just kind of like a puff of smoke out of your hands, because you used a lot of fire earlier, and it just
I'm out of juice.
it makes like a sad noise. Laszlo, you load up 2 emeralds. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You shoot like glowing green kind of like projectiles, and as they like impact into the thing, they disintegrate, but they turn into puffs of like gas, like green gas, and you get the sense that maybe you wouldn't want to breathe that gas. And yeah, so that's what you get there with that. Meanwhile, Nixus kind of she winds up, and she puts a lot of oomph into it. Maybe even just a little bit too much oomph than she intended. But this solid oomph hit kind of impacts on the thing, and it doesn't disintegrate. This projectile, it impacts. It makes like a loud noise. There's kind of like a weird moving in this thing in the center there, and as you watch, this orb kind of starts to morph and start becoming not so much a solid circle, but as like a moving kind of like blob. And before anyone can really do anything, it shoots out a strand of energy, kind of like what's connecting to all the other things in this room, and ensnares Prue and starts kind of like dragging her towards it. And it's kind of like attached to your chest, Prue, and it hurts like hell. You're not having a good time here.
Can I reach out since I'm next to her? Can I just reach out and like grab onto her so it doesn't like...
Yeah, you can start trying to pull her away from it if you want.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to try to start pulling her away.
I'm gonna grab onto whatever it is that's in the middle of my chest and start trying to pull it out.
Okay, you can't actually grab onto anything. It doesn't. When you try to grab, it doesn't feel like anything's there.
Oh
If
shit!
I, hypothetically, I have an arcane Swiss Army knife, can I try and just like cut it with my magic Swiss Army knife?
Sure.
I'm trying for anything here.
Cool. Yeah. No, you're gonna try to cut the strand with your magic Swiss Army knife.
Yes.
Nice. It goes right through.
Oh.
It's kind of tugging more on her. Laszlo, are you gonna do anything?
I don't know what to do. I'm at a loss. Does this thing react to music?
No, you've already proven that it doesn't really have anything to do with music.
Then
It's,
we're fucked.
Pour your magic water on it, Keefy.
I know, I was just gonna say I'm gonna pour some water on it to see if we can see
Just like grabbing shit out of our fucking bags, like just throw stuff at it. Ah!
I am going to try and Prue, don't hate me. I'm gonna try and fuse Prue's feet to the ground, just temporarily like binding it. Like not super glue,
Oh,
but
God.
like a kind of glue.
I'm gonna have gnome feet. I'm gonna have gnome feet.
I'm just gonna try and like give her enough like friction to keep her in place just for a
The
minute.
floor is ice, so you could maybe like ice her to the ground if you wanted to.
We're gonna try
Ice,
and
ice,
ice her to the
baby.
ground. Yep.
Okay, and Kip, what are you doing?
Fucking panicking and literally just throwing stuff out of my bags, like at
Okay.
it. Just like, whoa.
All right. Those efforts don't work. Keefy, can you roll me an unmodified d20, pretty please?
Yeah. Yeah, I can.
Cool. It's enough. You fuse her feet to the ground, and for a moment it kind of stops her. Now she's being pulled like chest forwards into the sky, but the ice is starting to like slow that. But she's getting like pulled out of the ice by it almost.
Hmm.
So next round of responses here. Kip, do you have anything you might want to try?
Maybe don't resist it and just yeet into
Go
it. See
ahead.
where it takes ya.
What happened?
I don't know. I'm freaking out, man. I don't know what to do right now.
All right,
Maybe we
Keefy.
want to go into it.
Keefy, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna just keep kind of like trying to fuse Prue's feet to the ground, just like as it pulls more, just adding more like ice fusion.
All right, Laszlo, are you gonna do anything?
I'm going to try to shoot it with gold coins this time.
The orb in the middle.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And Prue, are you gonna do anything?
I'm going to lean down real quick, grab another ice rock, and I'm gonna use a decent amount of go juice and throw it at this thing.
You can't lean down.
I'm gonna scramble my arms like I could.
You're gonna what?
Do this.
One more time for me, please.
This.
You're gonna struggle like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna get
Okay.
on the struggle bus.
Are you putting any effort into that?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and pull back.
Okay.
With some go juice.
How much?
A decent amount, and I don't want to go in the side of this thing.
That's fair. All right. So Laszlo, you're gonna shoot at it with coins. Keefy's gonna keep trying to like stick her to the ground.
Can I try to jump into it?
Kip!
Oh
Damn it!
god.
Let me touch it. Let me jump in it.
I feel like
wanna lick
maybe
it.
it's like maybe we need to do that. I don't know. Maybe I'm extra daring today. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're like the brave one. We're all like, what do we do?
I mean,
Okay.
you could try shooting it again.
Okay. I will use my pip bow to shoot at it.
Can you demonstrate again? Because that was beautiful last time.
Currently biting my toes right now. Him.
My favorite thing. She just takes it and she's like, what?
All right. Cool. So everyone, just everybody, roll me an unmodified d20 again.
Come on, D20. Come on.
Oh, Laszlo got a 19.
Come on. 20, 20, 20.
Oh,
Kip got a
Close enough.
pretty close. So
19. Got a 2.
the standard golden shotgun blast of like intense like focal shot kind of rings out from Laszlo's pistols at the same time as Kip's bow unleashes its payload into this thing. And Keefe manages to apply a little bit more ice onto Prue's feet, kind of like keeping her cemented. And your shots hit this thing, and that seems to really piss it off because it wrenches Prue out of the ground and just hauls her up in the air towards it slowly. It's not going fast, but you're no longer connected to the ground.
You can try shooting it again, Kip. Shit.
And then I don't know how this is said in this situation, but someone somewhere says, "Thanks for gifting a sub to come on my quilt."
Oh, I didn't.
So good.
Thank you, Anonymous. That's why I'm not seeing them. It's not
All right,
showing
Prue,
me.
you're being hauled into the air. You're against your will. You're kind of like hanging limp. It's really painful. You're getting pulled towards this thing. Is there maybe anything you want to try doing to, like, full force your way out of this situation? Life or death, kind of like
Yeah.
put all the eggs in one basket.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna do whatever is necessary to get out of this thing. I'm gonna I'm gonna focus a shit ton of magic and just blast it at this thing as much as I physically can.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
you could do that.
Yeah, I would like to do that.
Or do you just want to... What the fuck does that even say?
Full force
Kimchi
Full force
slap?
Full force kimchi slap. That's really hard to say. Try and say that. Full force kimchi slap.
Yeah, thanks for
Bullshit.
giving a sub to Full Force Kimchi
Full force
Slap.
kimchi slap.
Thank you.
Full force kimchi slap.
Cool.
Memes.
Are you cool with me just kind of describing what
Yeah.
goes down here?
Do it. Do the thing.
Fair enough.
Did Prue go Super Saiyan?
Of a sorts. So as you guys kind of watch, as you're looking up towards Prue kind of being hauled into the sky, and whoever's slapping or whatever that noise is, please stop.
Oh, that's Fiddle, I think. Fiddle? That's coming through on my... Okay. He says, "It's done. It is done."
It's done. What is he doing over there?
He's like popping, not like bubble wrap, but you know those big air, like... pokey
Oh, like the
things of
Amazon
plastic?
one?
Yeah, he's like just fucking stabbing a bunch of them, which is so fun, and I want to do it. You should have saved me some.
All right. Now, returning to our game, as we see Prue kind of getting pulled up towards this orb, you guys are all helpless as she tries to struggle against it. At this point, Prue realizes that in order to break free of whatever this thing is, she's not going to be able to continue addressing these problems in the way she previously was. And it seems the jig is up, because Prue flashes brightly with a kind of mixture of black and white light as she stares at this thing, illuminating her eyes. They kind of engulf in bright, almost like diamond-like light. And as she's doing so, the Prue that you all know kind of falls away. There's a lot of her that isn't there anymore, replaced with this kind of entity that oh my goodness, there's a lot of gift subs. We'll get to that though. Don't worry, everybody.
Don't worry about it. It's contextual.
Her hair goes from a mess of scraggle kind of brown to sleek jet black hair and falls around her shoulders, and her skin begins to turn an almost kind of translucent white and starts to give off kind of like a gentle glow. And as her eyes kind of dim, they become solid black matte pits, and her clothing kind of disintegrates and turns into more of like an ethereal, wispy shape, and it's flowing of its own accord around her. And as she looks at this thing, large, impressive, kind of ethereal-looking wings break out of the back of her body, and she looks almost kind of like they're like almost like fairy wings almost, and she looks pissed off at this thing, and immediately with the full force of her entire body, she breaks backwards and breaks free of this thing, and just the whole room kind of floods with this flash of dark energy, and now she's kind of free of the grasp of this orb and is hovering there, this completely new, transformed-looking creature. And everyone is utterly quiet. The orb has gone completely motionless again, once more, and now we see Prue hovering in the in the room, just kind of like panting, having had to use a lot of an ability behind her energy that she wasn't expecting to have to use at any point in her experiences so far.
Well, look at you.
Prue, you're stunning.
Whoa. Whoa.
Prue, I bet you could break my arm. You look so strong.
Can you talk, Prue? Are you still you?
It's actually Prudence is my name.
Oh, she's sassy now.
Now,
Wait, she wasn't
like she,
sassy.
yeah, like, oh,
That's
now
fair.
she's
Oh,
sassy.
now she's sassy.
She extra sassy now.
Prudence, are you okay? Are you still our Prue?
Yes, I'm all right.
As she just says that as you just kind of casually observe this like practically divine creature in front of you.
Just gonna float back down to the ground. Just gonna fold those wings back in.
So you're gonna do like the tuck tuck.
Yeah.
Like
Prue, what are you?
A human fighter.
But like, what was that?
You know what? Maybe don't worry too much about it right now. We have to figure out what's going on here, and once we're done that, we can talk about it. How does that sound?
Is that from the wine? Do I need to start drinking more wine?
Yes. Yes. Yep.
behold, everyone, the powers of alcoholism.
Okay, yeah, I guess we should handle this. But Prue, you got some explaining to do, my friend.
I happily, once we figure out what's going on here and finish up.
So the ball kind of looks like it's taken a bit of damage as a result of that undertaking. And as you look up at this thing, it starts whispering kind of like voices out of it almost. And you're like, you can kind of hear it being like, thank you, Saji, for gifting 5 subs, tier 1 subs to the community. And thank you, Anonymous Gifter, for subscribing Yeeg Joe to the channel.
Yeeb Joe.
YEG Joe.
Oh, E-I-E-I, Joe.
It looks like the output of Prue's kind of like power there was enough to kind of shatter this device a little bit. It looks like it's formed a few cracks, and things are starting to kind of like look like they're being affected in the room a bit. It looks like things are starting to. Everything's still, but you can see the world around it affecting them a little bit more.
It's affecting them?
Yeah, whereas they were absolutely perfectly still now it looks like maybe a little bit of the wind and stuff is making things in the in the room kind of like alive more. Everything, you get the sense that stuff is a little more active in the room.
They're like kind of shifting or something. They're still like implanted in the ice.
Yeah.
But...
Also, thank you, Daredef, for gifting 5 subs to people.
Who's that? Thanks, Daredef.
Yeah, thanks,
from
Jared.
Kip. Thanks.
Thanks, Kip, for gifting 5 subs. The homies in your channel.
Could it be that this ball of energy is actually like a time vortex?
Maybe. You know that it took some hits. Like, looks like everybody hitting it had a good effect.
I don't know if destroying it would make things better or worse for us.
Well, only one way to find out, I guess, considering you're trapped in a room by an amorphous blob that you can't escape from.
But he doesn't like the flute.
He don't like that fluty flute. And so, Lord Zach Bora, thank you for gifting 5 subs, and Saji, thank you for gifting a sub to She-Hulk.
Dude, thank you.
Yeah, Dara, if you wanted to take like a second to like address that.
Read the names and stuff. Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys. Thank you so much. Oh fuck. Well, here we go. Of course. Of course I'd have a coughing fit. Zach, thank you for gifting us up. Twitch Robinson. Mr. Gut or Mr. Goo TV maybe. 23. Valima. Lulu is a princess. Saji gifting us up to She-Hulk __. Zach gifting us up to J Walters fam. And me gifting us up to Kiowa Mechanic, Burning Rebel, Garinio, Finfile, Vortex 1. And I think that's everyone. Yay. Thanks, guys. That's that brings you can see Fitz.
Yeah,
Bringing me
standing
food.
there with the pot, just like.
Oh my god. He says hi. That brings us to 457 subs, so that's really cool. Getting back up to 500. So yeah, thank you so friggin' much. Let's continue before I die of coughing fits.
All right, yeah, no more dying.
No more dying.
All right, so you're looking at this orb. It looks like you guys have done some damage to it. Go from there. What do you want to do?
I don't like this room. I mean, I really don't like this room.
See, here's the thing. If we break this thing, then isn't it going to just activate all these guys? And then we're going to have to fight all these guys?
Maybe we won't have to fight them. Maybe they'll have answers for us.
Okay, that's a very logical thing to think. I just assume everything's trying to kill us, Laszlo. We've gotten to that point.
Fair enough.
Do you think this orb talks? Did we try talking to this orb?
Do you speak orb?
I don't know. Orb. Orb?
Did it speak to you or
Try
did
a different
anything when it was
dialect.
attaching to you?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Orb.
I don't know anymore. I give up.
You know what? We should just blow it up.
Yep, let's blow it up.
Let's blow it up.
Blow it
It's
up.
logical.
I'm gonna blow it up.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Now that the cat's out of the bag, Prue, do you maybe want to like hit it with everything?
I would like to hit it with everything, yes.
The cat's
All right.
out of the bag.
Kip, do you want to do anything?
No. I'm just gonna watch this. I don't know.
You don't want to hit the orb too?
I guess so. Yeah.
We want to give all the glory to She-Hulk.
All glory to She-Hulk.
I
No,
mean,
you
the
don't.
last time
You can hit it.
the last time we hit it, it got really mad and grabbed someone. But I mean, let's try it again.
Sure,
Seems
let's just hit
logical.
it. God, we're so.
Often when you hit things, they get mad.
We shoot it. We hit it. It's
you,
just like.
I'll just again, I can't grab her because she's off, but I will use the pit bow to attack it.
All right, perfect. Keefe, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna try and no, because that would destroy it. I guess we're gonna fire.
Just another fire laser?
Yeah, I don't want to lose my bread knife, so I'm not gonna hit it with the only like actual object I can hit it with.
All right, and Laszlo,
We're
what are
like
you
the
gonna
most useful party.
I'm going to go full gold on it.
do? All right. Give it a good transaction denied experience. Send it some change. All right, you all line up and everyone except for Prue, can you go ahead and give me a d20 unmodified, please? Oh my god!
Really?
All right, so everyone,
Like every roll.
it's fine. Everyone, literally everybody except for Keefe manages to like unleash on this thing, but Keefe is still like poof, like peh.
Piff.
Eh. Come on, hands. And as you guys kind of unload into the thing, it gets pretty angry, and it starts to sort of shake everything a little bit, and you can kind of hear like things kind of crumbling and stuff falling, and the room is kind of shaking a little bit. And as that happens, Prue just kind of please stop looping. Prue kind of but how do you want to handle this? What do you want to hit it with, Prue?
I'd like to conjure an excessively large ball of like black greenish energy and just sort of about the same size as the orb itself and just throw it up against it.
All right. That's totally doable, and you're going to do that, and it's going to hit, and that's how it's going to go. And as everyone pisses this thing off by hitting into it, and it starts to get reactive again, you summon your big spirit bomb. Well, not big, but you summon your spirit bomb of black energy, and you yeet this ball right into the other ball. And as it impacts, you can kind of hear what sounds to be a tearing noise. And the tearing sounds like somebody is scraping their hands across glass, but the sound is so beyond your conscious perception that it feels like your soul is experiencing this noise. There is no noise in the room, but you guys are deafened by a feeling inside of you that just is this most horrible, chalkboardy, fucking like straw in the cup combination of just uncomfortable noise. And as that happens, the swirling vortex in the center has a flash of what it looks like just giving up, and gets a lot smaller and just hovers there. And as that happens and the horrible noise within your senses dissipates, the room falls silent. And as you kind of are sitting there wondering, like, hey, what the hell was that? You kind of hear a voice from above you, looming over behind you. Hello, small creatures.
Hey.
And the one kind of big, tall ass looking thing over here, the 10-foot tall alien kind of looking creature, is now fully moving and doesn't look surprised, but it's curious. It's wondering why the hell you're all kind of standing there. It just sits there for a bit. Do you guys have anything to say to it?
What are you?
Is that everyone's general consensus?
That's a good start for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was muted, but I was asking if they were a good sloth popsicle or a bad sloth popsicle. Slothsicle.
Slothsicle.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, dear.
That was close.
The creature kind of takes a moment to take you all in for a minute, looking down very slowly, methodically, making a scale of the room, and looking at everything else in the room. And it doesn't answer your question, and it turns around and looks back at the doorway, and almost immediately the like blob in the doorway starts kind of surging forwards. It's not happy. It starts coming into the room at like Mach speeds. Like before you were like, oh, this thing's really slow. Now whatever was keeping it from being a problem of being like slow is just rocketing into this place. It's coming right after that creature.
It's going
And
after
as
the
this-
creature.
It's the tall guy, yeah, the one who's
Huh.
like currently moving.
Not
It
after
seems
us.
to be intently focused on this thing, like, or at least in its direction. I mean, you guys are standing around it, so it's kind of all the same direction. But
Pip's growling at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't like
She's
this.
like, "Oh, I don't
thing."
like this thing.
Start singing at it. Start singing at it.
Yeah, yeah.
well, hold on.
Oh, okay.
You don't need to do anything like that, because as this thing starts surging towards it, this creature opens its mouth and starts emanating this angelic sounding kind of like harmony that I just don't have a sound effect to replicate, so you're just gonna have to use the power of imagination. And as it starts, plus we don't want copyright violation strikes anymore. So it opens its mouth and starts kind of like emitting this beautiful sound that you can't identify. It sounds like somebody sang a song that you always knew was the right song for you.
Our jam.
I
I was like, what the fuck is that?
And immediately as it starts doing that, the blob is pushed back, and as this thing kind of is pushed back, the big tall motherfucker here keeps advancing on it, pushing it, and it starts to disintegrate. The blob is kind of like falling apart as it kind of is pushed out of the doorway, eventually kind of dissipating into an unresponsive pool. And as it kind of pools onto the ground and disintegrates, the big standing creature turns around and looks at everybody and kind of notices that its other parallel creatures are now moving. You weren't sure when they started moving, but they look to be acting very quickly around you. And as you guys kind of watch, these big, crazy looking kind of creatures are moving around and moving in these strange patterns, and they kind of start opening their mouths too, and more music starts emanating from them, and they start singing. And as they're doing so, the automatons in the wall are coming to life, and they don't look happy. They're kind of like glowing with the same energy that you saw in Edders in the underground, in the sewers. And the four of these all standing here, kind of on the rocks and everything, are holding everything at bay, more or less. They are turning in unison and kind of singing together, where this big creature over here, the one who is addressing you, kind of looks down at you all and says, "We must leave this place immediately." Are you going to follow this big, tall, 10-foot thing?
Yep.
Let's follow the slapsicle.
Yep.
Sure. Yeah. Remember when we thought it was bad, and now we're gonna follow it?
Well, look at his big grumpy face.
Yeah, I mean, no, I want to get the heck out of here. I'm gonna put my trust in it. Yeah, let's follow it.
He's like a grumpy frog sloth.
Whoops. A grumpy frog sloth.
This is just Kiwi's just like whispering this to herself, like grumpy frog sloth.
Frog shot.
Kiwi hasn't had like her afternoon snack, and she's a little grumpy, so she's just like fucking
Should have had a slapsicle.
frog sloths.
So as this big, tall,
Oh.
10-foot creature... What?
I'm just gonna be behind, picking up all the stuff I threw in a panic, and I'm like, I'll catch up to you guys. I'm just picking up all the random shit I threw.
God, that was the most like appropriate way we fought that.
I'll
shit
catch
at
up in a minute. Just gotta pick up
You
all
good,
my
Kip? Do you need help?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I had a lot of stuff in my bags, but I'm okay. I'll be there in a second.
So as Kip picks up her shit, and you guys are like, "Oh my god!" The big tall creature is kind of waking its way through, and this automaton starts kind of waking up, and the creature just bends down and opens its mouth and lets out a shout that just drives it into the wall, and eventually so deep that you can't see it anymore, and
That's deep.
kind of gracefully bends back up and continues on its way down the hallway. And likewise, another automaton comes down the hallway to kind of engage with this thing. And it it gets the same treatment, another shout of song, and it just gets burrowed into the ice and eventually just disappears from sight. And the creature continues all the way along, escorting you all through this large tunnel of ice until eventually you reach an end point that sort of leads back towards where you guys came from. And it stops before it kind of exits and pauses for a moment, thinking about things, and looks behind it and goes, "We have much work to do." And it is with that our session ends.
Whoa. Grumpy sloth popsicle thing is
Slothsicle.
gonna help us.
Attack of the Slothsicles.
Yeet. Cool. Cool beans.
So, there we are, everyone. That is our session for the day.
Woo.
You can tell because I played the music.
That's how
sig-
you know.
Our signature Irish jig of "We're fucking done."